What's up guys, how's it going? My name's Kent and this is Corsby Gaming. So today's video is going to be a top 10 countdown on my favorite games. Now this is not a list of what games I think are the best, just the ones that I like the most. Now some of the games on this list may be some of the best games ever made, but that's not the criteria for this video. With that said, obviously you guys are free to disagree or agree with me. Actually, let me know if you do in the comments section, or even feel free to put your top 10 in there. Alrighty, enough of the intro, let's get into the top 10. Alright, so getting this list started off, and the number 10 spot is going to be Final Fantasy VI. This game was originally a Super Nintendo game that came out in '94 and then was later ported to the Game Boy Advance, which is where I first played it, and I really enjoyed it. So this game is a classic RPG. If you played any of the other Final Fantasy games, this one's fairly similar, but this one is definitely one of the best in the series. The storyline has some crazy twists and turns to it. The characters are very memorable, and then for me, I have a bit of nostalgia for this game since I played it on a vacation. I had a Nintendo Power magazine with a walkthrough. It definitely was a lot of fun. Coming in at the number 9 spot is going to be Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. Now right off the bat, this game is a masterpiece. Definitely one of the best games ever made. Personally though, I didn't think that it aged all that well. So that's why it's not higher on my list. I think that newer games have come out that I've just enjoyed a lot more. But at the time this game came out, it was definitely one of my favorite games for a long time. It was one of the first Nintendo 64 games that I ever played, and I have a lot of good memories of it, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely a classic and a masterpiece in every sense of the word. Number 8 on this list is going to be Resident Evil 4. Now this game is a work of art. It's very unique and was different for the time that it came out. It was absolutely terrifying to play in certain parts and a lot of fun. I think it was like the perfect blend of strategy, survival, and horror. The biggest aspects were really like the inventory management and just trying to get through the game with ammo and not dying, and I really enjoyed that part. The controls can be a little iffy at first, but once you get used to them, they're not too bad. And there are a couple parts where the game is a little tedious, but overall it's awesome. The replayability is really one of the best factors about this game. I originally played it for the GameCube, I then played it for the Xbox 360, and then most recently played it for the Xbox One. The number 7 game on this series is going to be Fire Emblem Awakening. Now, I am a huge Fire Emblem fan. I've played almost every game in the series, and Fire Emblem Awakening is definitely the best one in my opinion. This one really saved the series. They added a bunch of features in it to make it stand out. Like they added in pairing up during battle, they added children, and they also added skills and a lot of other features that really made this game an excellent Fire Emblem. So at the number 6 spot, we have The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Now this is one of the first games that I ever played. I played it on the Game Boy back in '96 or something like that. So nostalgia definitely had a factor of it making this list. It is a classic game though. It recently got a remake. I have played the remake. It is amazing as well. This is a game that will definitely be featured on this channel more in the future. It's a game that I'll probably be doing speedruns on. I've done speedruns on this game before, and they've taken me about 4 hours in the past. I can definitely cut that down a lot, but the speedruns that I have done for it are not using any glitches or anything like that. It's just complete going through the game, beating all the bosses. And then I'll probably be featuring a boss run on it as well, either for this version or the remade version. At number 5 on this list, we got The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Now, this game was released back in 2011, and it's been re-released and ported so many times, I have lost track. I played it on so many different consoles that, I mean, it's just such a darn good game that you can just keep playing and playing forever. I mean, I still play it till today, and I have hundreds of hours played on this game, which is kind of sad, but I mean, it's just that good. Like, this game is so beautiful. The game just works so well. The updates and the expansions that they made for it really were just icing on the cake on an amazing game. What's crazy about this game, though, is that I played Morrowind a ton, and I thought Morrowind was the best game for years and years and years, and I never thought anything could top it. And then they came out with Oblivion. It was kind of a letdown, to be honest, but when they came out with Skyrim, man, that one just took it to a whole nother level of quality of game. To finish this one off, I'll just let you enjoy the view. Number 4 on this list is going to be Chrono Trigger. Now, this game was originally released on the Super Nintendo back in '95 and was extremely popular, and then it was later ported to the DS, which is where I first played it. This game is definitely a classic game, one of the best RPGs ever. There's a lot of consensus around that fact. This game brought a lot of new and unique features to it. First off, the storyline has a huge aspect of time travel, which it's so well done, and no other game during that time did it and used it that effectively. Also, this game had multiple endings. I think there's like 13 different endings. No other game at that time was doing multiple endings, so a couple of those things really set this game apart. If you Google best RPGs ever, this game will certainly be on there. In third place on this list is going to be Fallout 4. Now, I know a lot of people like either Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas more. Yes, I played both those games and definitely enjoyed them, but I think Fallout 4 is a lot better than both of those and improved on the previous games of the series in a few different ways. So they added quite a few different features. The additions of the settlements was something I really enjoyed. Just building the settlements up. I actually spent a lot of time just building random stuff, whether it was light boards or buildings. I definitely thought that was a cool addition to the game. Another thing that they really improved on was the weapons and armor modification and customization. It was a little bit in Fallout New Vegas, but they really expanded on it a lot in Fallout 4, and I thought that was a huge improvement for the series. And another thing I really liked about this game, which might sound kind of silly, was the music. I just really enjoyed roaming around with that classic music playing. I would play the music when I wasn't playing the game, I liked it so much. But this is definitely one of those games where you don't have to have a specific mission or quest you're doing. I could just be roaming around, shooting random stuff, whether it's death claws or rad scorpions or bloatflies, and have a really good time. Alrighty, the number 2 game on this list is going to be Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Kobe's Journey. Now, this is probably one of the most unconventional games on this list. I highly doubt you'll see this game on too many people's top 10 list, but this is just one of those games that I played as a kid, and I really loved it. Obviously, nostalgia has a huge factor of it making this list. A lot of people played Pokemon when they were younger, and they have really good memories of playing that game. I mean, I played Pokemon too, but this was the game that I played. Now, this game is very comparable to Pokemon, where you get monsters, you level them up, except there's one huge difference. You breed or pair up these monsters or fuse them to get an even stronger monster. So in the beginning of the game, you start out with a bunch of garbage monsters, and you continue to combine them until you get really awesome, way overpowered monsters, and it's just an amazingly well designed system. Now, if you haven't heard of this game before, it's actually a spin-off series from the Dragon Quest series, which is actually much more popular. I think there's like a dozen Dragon Quest games, and there's only a handful of Dragon Warrior Monsters games, but the monsters are the same monsters from the Dragon Quest series. Obviously, the art is the same, and a lot of the ways that the game functions are similar as well as far as like battle goes. The number one spot on this list goes to Diablo 3. So this is your typical hack and slash game with an emphasis on loot. Now, I got this game originally for the Xbox 360, and I played it a moderate amount, but it wasn't until I got it for the Xbox One later that I really started playing this game a lot and realized all the depth to the game. So there's a ton of replayability with the game, whether it's just the unique character builds or the new seasons that they continue to come out with and they change the game. These really add different layers to it and make it so you can just keep playing it and playing it and playing it. I got it recently for the Nintendo Switch, and I've played it a ton there too. Overall, I probably played like 1,000 hours on this game, which is kind of mind-blowing, but I have so many different characters that each one of them I've developed and leveled up enough to where I get on the leaderboards, and then once a new season starts, I just create another character and do the exact same thing. And we're just going to take a sec to honor the Hall of the Fallen. So I always play on hardcore mode, so once your character dies in the game, they are dead forever. So let's just pay some respect to these guys. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for the top 10 countdown of my favorite video games. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. If you liked the video, please subscribe. I'll catch you next time.